Hello there. Today I'm going to show you the OpenStack Mitaka release install on a single node. The agenda is basically I'll go through the quick 2-minute introduction. It will take roughly around 8 minutes for the VM readiness. I'll show you what it involves and around 50 minutes for the Mitaka install. So total I'm expecting this session to be 1 hour, and so let's start. So, as for my introduction, my name is Rikesh Modi, and I have 15 plus years of experience in network architecture, planning, design, engineering, operations, and maintenance. As I worked in Verizon Wireless before, and recently I started working on as an SDN engineer, doing software-defined networking and network function virtualization using Python, Netcon, Ansible, and with various SDN controllers and virtual routers and virtual switches, mainly focusing on service providers and large enterprises for their SDN and NFA initiatives. So I do have various certifications under my belt as well from Cisco, Juniper, VMware, Linux Foundation, as well as I have from academic perspective, I hold a postgraduate degree in Masters in Telecommunication Management, and I have some certification from Harvard Business School as well, along with some patents also awarded to me by US Patent and Trademark Office. So enough of myself, and let's start OpenStack Mitaka. So basically, as you see on the screen here, I have, let me just basically, let's review quickly the configuration of the VM I created. So that's how you understand that what is needed for this install. So the requirements for the successful install is basically my laptop. I have a 32 gig RAM and 1 terabyte hard drive with dual CPU quad core i7. But you may use any other laptop which at least should have at least 8 gig of RAM, 200 gig of hard drive, and any i5 or i7. It actually doesn't matter that much. So on my laptop, I have Windows 10 OS, and on top of that, I installed VMware Workstation 12.0. You can install 11 also, 11 or 12 doesn't matter as such. From For VM to create, when you create the VM, basically you need to make sure that you assign at least 4 gig of RAM, 40 gig of hard drive, and one CPU to core along with the two NICs. So the VM operating system you need is, as I'm going to show you in the install, it's a Ubuntu 14.04. That you may need to download the ISO image from the Ubuntu website. So on that VM also, it's good to enable the SSH, and so that you can use the PuTTY or secure CRT or whichever the software you like to SSH into. And the network-based config, I have made it ready. Is with the static configuration on Ethernet 0 with the IP address I have based on my network. I assigned 141, which is 192.168.1.141. Net mask is 255.255.255.0, and the gateway is dot .1. The network is dot .0, and the DNS server, I put it as 8.8.8.8. So you also need to verify the VM connectivity to the internet. So you can just do ping google.com, or you can check from the browser. You can get to a couple of websites and so forth. So you can do that as well. In this Mitaka install setup, I'm also going to use an internal IP address which is 10.10.10.141. You can pick any IP address you want, as long whatever the internal IP address you would like to use. But in my install, you will see this IP address as well, as we have two NICs here. So and we need to do some bridging as well. So besides that, that is basically this internal IP address is needed for the internal communication of the OpenStack components, such as Nova, Glance, Neutron, Keystone, Cinder, Horizon, RabbitMQ, and MySQL, etc., to just work internally between those components. And so once above basic setup is ready, we can proceed with the install. So, oh, and one more thing, as this is my first video, I'm trying to put it on the YouTube, and I really appreciate your comments and feedback, whether regardless positive or negative, as it will help me to make the upcoming videos better, and I can improve as we go on. So again, thank you in advance, and let's start the installation. All right, guys, so let's start installation process. So just I wanted to show quickly few more things. Here I'm showing that I have on this Mitaka server, Ubuntu software is installed, as well as the host name is Mitaka 141. When you do the network interfaces, this is the basic configuration I explained earlier is there, and there is nothing in the this directory as of right now, and I have logged in as I issued in already as a root. So all right, so the first command we are going to run is basically going to update the software just to make sure that we have the latest version available. All right, so the next one is we are going to run the common property files. Then we are going to uh, bring the repository for the Mitaka version. All right, so looks good. So now we are going to again update and get the upgrade distribution as well. Usually it should be fairly quick, so not planning to pause the video. So once this step is complete, then we'll install the Open vSwitch. And once we install Open vSwitch, then we'll add the um, BR external bridge we are going to add to it, and then run the CPU checker to make sure that this hypervisor is capable of utilizing KVM. Okay, so the distribution has been there now for Mitaka, and the upgrade also occurred. So now I'm going to install the Open vSwitch. So that is done. So now I'm going to add the bridge for the BR external. Now I'm going to run the CPU checker. Okay. Well, I know that this maybe I know I don't need to run this command, but I know that my installation works as I tested earlier. So let's proceed from here. So the first thing is now we need to go back to the interface file and make some changes here. So I just so what I did is auto Ethernet 1 with this 000 IP address, and I added the external bridge associated to the 141 IP address and the network, and this internal IP address is for the inter management network. So let me just save it here, and then so basically I'm adding the port BREX to the Ethernet 1. The host name is also already configured as Mitaka 141, so that's good. And let me just show you. Uh, let's see host configuration where I just put this IP address with the This config. All right, so the next step is we need to go to the sysctl.conf file and make some changes there from the security perspective. So I go here and here is the place. Basically, we will add these three more lines with the net IPv4 IP forward one and conf all RP filter 0 and default RP filter is 0 as well, right? And then let's we need to reboot the machine, but before we do that, we'll do this to make sure that the settings are going to be there after the reboot as well. And we'll just do init 6. So it is going to come up soon, but I'll pause the video in the meantime. All right, so the reboot has completed. I logged back in as with Ubuntu as a server and sudo in as well. So the next step we need to take is we need to install some Python, MySQL DB, and MySQL Server to run as a database in the system. So it will ask for the password for the SQL, MySQL database. So you put whichever the password you like. Should be quick. Here you go. So let's we need to make some parameter changes in the my CNF file. So once we are done with that, then we need to go into the my CNF file and make some changes there. So basically here in this MySQL, you need to add and so we added this as default storage engine, which would be InnoDB file per table. Collection server is UTF-8 general CI, and init connect is set names UTF-8 and character. So these are the file lines we added there. So let's save it. And now we need to restart MySQL server just to make sure that the changes takes effect. Okay, so that's done. So the next step is we need to install RabbitMQ server, which is basically a messaging server in OpenStack, which communicates with the other nodes within the OpenStack infrastructure. All right, so that's done. So what we are doing here is we are going to add user for that RabbitMQ processes. So creating user OpenStack. Um, so this is the very so next thing is we need to set some permissions for the OpenStack user so that it can run without any issues. And then we need to also install memcache. So install memcached, Python memcache. All right, so that's done. So we can go to the memcached.conf and we need to make one change for the IP address. We need to make a update 0.0.0.0. Okay, and then hit escape. So good there. We need to restart basically the memcached. All right. So basically now we have MySQL and RabbitMQ and created the user OpenStack for the process. So that those three things are done. So now we are what we are going to do in the this section is configuring the Keystone. So for a Keystone, we need to install some packages for that, which is basically install Keystone, Apache 2, Python, OpenStack client, etc. So let's do that. Yes. It's all the different components of OpenStack has different packages to be installed. So it's like one by one for Keystone and Glance and Cinder, and we will just install section by section. I think we are doing okay from the time perspective. So, all right, here you go. So that packages has been installed. So next thing is we are going to check the Keystone status. So Keystone is running. So now what we'll do is we'll go to the MySQL and uh, update the changes there. So once you are in MySQL, the first thing you do is we need to create the database. So we created the database. We need to grant the permissions. So it's permissions for the Keystone as a user, and quit. All right, so that's done. The next thing is we need to go to the Keystone conf and make some changes in the configuration file. So let me go there. The first thing is we need to do is we need to insert we need to do that. under the database section. Under the database section, we need to just add connection. So let's see first whether there is a connection. Yeah, usually there would be one default SQLite. So what we can do is we can just make a comment for that, and we can add the new line there, or you can put it in the top also, just if you want to keep it over there. So there you go. Okay, so that's the database section under the token. So there is one more place we need to make change. Token, not that. Here we go. So token provider is for net. So let's see if there is a provider. Okay, so here is a provider. So basically, we can just add one more line here. Insert and provider, and let's close it. Save and close. Okay, so once we do that, then we can restart the Keystone process. All right, that's good. Then we need to just SU and to sync up the database. All right, that's done. So Keystone manage for net setup, Keystone, Keystone group, Keystone. Basically, what we are trying to set up Keystone here so that it can, as a Keystone user, the whatever the process needs to be run, it can run without any issues. So once we do that, then we need to some export some commands to it, so that whenever we source it, this will help. We don't have to explicitly run this commands manually all the time, but the Keystone can manage that going forward. All right, so now here we are going to create the in this command, basically OpenStack service create. We are going to create the service uh, in Keystone as a and the description is OpenStack identity, and the service name is identity. So let's create that. So when the output comes in this format, usually it means that the command has run successfully, and otherwise you may get some error if there is some syntax error, or the command is not right, basically. So the next command we are going to run is to create the endpoint. Endpoint, basically, we need to also define the region, that which region you are going to create the endpoint in, and the identity is public, and what is the IP address for the public. Usually it's on the controller IP address. It comes up as all the endpoints, and then there are three different endpoints you usually create within each service. One is internal, one is public, and one is for the admin purpose. So similarly, we'll create another endpoint for the internal IP address, and the third endpoint we are going to create for the admin. All right, so looks good. The endpoints has been created, um, and then we can create the domain here. So as you know that if you know open in OpenStack, there are some domains comes as a default, and some domains you can create later as well. So this is the default domain we have created here. That's what it shows, that it came back successfully creating the domain. Now we are going to create the project here. So OpenStack project create, and where we are going to create, it's in the domain is default. So what the default domain we just created, right? And within that we are going to create the project, and the project name would be admin. All right, and then we are also going to create the user admin. So this is OpenStack user create, and in which domain it's default, and it will prompt for the password, and the user ID would be admin. So you give the appropriate password, whichever you like, and it will create the admin user within that. So we also need to create some roles. So let's create a role here, OpenStack role create admin. So this is again another in OpenStack usually you have certain roles specific for certain activities. So here we created the role as admin, and now what we are going to do is we are going to add that role admin to the user admin. So that's what I'm doing here. OpenStack role add to the project admin, user admin, and this role we are going to add is the admin. All right, so that's done. The next one is OpenStack project create. So we are going to create another project called as a service. So OpenStack project create domain with again within the default domain, and it's a service project, and the name is service. Right, so that's good. And then the OpenStack project create domain default description demo. So this is the another project we are creating, which is called a demo project. So that's what here I did. The next one is we need to create some user called demo. So let's create that as well. So these are basically whenever you install OpenStack. Just one second, let me just put the password. All right, so that's good. And then OpenStack role create user. So we also need to create some role as a user, right? Like we already created role admin. So this is the role user, because whenever you create a project, you may need to assign certain people with the admin role versus the other people with the user role. So it's like differentiating the permissions and access rights for that. And the last one is we need to add the role to the project demo and user demo, and the role add going to be user. So that's good. So that's done. So what we are going to do next is we always whenever there is a you run any OpenStack command, basically it goes and checks within the keystone for the authentication. So what we are going to do here is whatever the user ID we are going to use, we just put those credentials in this file called creds, and so that every time when we run any command, we just need to do source to that file, and it picks up all the credentials from this particular file, and execute those commands, whatever we would like to do. So so let me just go there one more time, and I can just show you what are the things involved there. So what we did is we are exporting the OS project domain name, which is default. User domain name would be default as well. OS project name would be admin we are going to use. The username we are going to run this command. So whenever you do source creds, right, it is going to use this user as you are running the command from. Like whenever you do sudo, right, in Linux or Unix, you can do sudo, or you can log in as root and execute commands. So there are some differences, right? Where when you use sudo, when you don't use sudo. Similarly, here also, you need to for any configuration changes, you need to work as admin, so that this is going to help. This file is going to help, and you need to continuously use it all the time when you work within the OpenStack. So the password is whatever the password you have assigned. It comes by the default. It just picks up from the original password entry, and the this is the auth URL where it is going to go for authentication, which is basically in the Keystone controller, and OpenStack identity API version is 3 here. So all right, so once this is done, so what you do usually is, let's say I do a command call OpenStack user list, right? So sorry. uh, Okay, so the command is not working, right? So what you do is source creds, and then if you do the command, ah, sorry about that. OpenStack user list, and there you go. So basically it shows that how many users so far in this OpenStack system infrastructure, right? So it shows that okay, there is one user called admin and one user called demo. These are the two users we have configured so far in our previous steps. So that's what it shows here. So gradually, as we build more and more users, you'll notice that there are more users has been added once you run this command, right? So the next thing is, now as the keystone configuration is complete, now we'll go to the glance configuration. As you know that glance is the image, uh, it holds all the images for the OpenStack. So let's create a user called glance, and so here we are creating a user glance in the domain default. So when for all these services also you need to put the password so that they can communicate internally. All right, so that's good. The next thing is we need to add the role admin. Usually for all the services, you need to add the role as admin so that they can, without any issues, they can work with each other. Then the third, oops, sorry about that. So here we are creating a service called image, and then again we need to create endpoints for public, internal, and external. So let's do that. So this is for public. The next one is for each service we need to create a separate endpoints. There you go. Okay, so the all the three endpoints also has been created. So the next we'll do is we'll just go through the we'll install the glance as a package on this OpenStack system. So once it's done, then we'll check the Glance API status. There are basically two important services Glance runs, and usually it helps for the troubleshooting as well. One is the Glance API, and the other one is Glance registry. So here, let's check the status for the Glance API. Okay, that looks okay. And the second one is glance registry, that runs okay too. So now we are going to go to the MySQL and add a glance, create a glance database. Oops, sorry. So what's going on? Okay, password is all right. I'm in. So now first we'll create a database called glance, which is called GlanceDB, and we'll also add the permissions. And then quit. All right, so the database is created. Now we'll go to the configuration file and we need to make some changes in the Glance API file. So usually always verbose equals true. All right, the next one is database connection, as we did for the Keystone as well. It's a similar setup, but different file, right? So here, let's look for database, and within that database, as you see, this is a default connection. I think the connection would be somewhere else. Okay. Okay, so here let's insert connection equals this, and we don't use this, so we can just get rid of this. All right, I just want to make sure that there is no connection. Okay, so here it says connection none. Good. So let's what other changes we need other than that is under glance restore. So let's go to glance restore. It was right here. So uh, glance store, not restore. Okay, under the glance store, um, stores file systems and images. So these are the three parameters we need. And if you go here, is there anything else, or we can just add everything together? Yep. So let's do that. So from glance here, insert, and you just add these three lines, which is stores file HTTP and default store is file and file system store. This is the place it going to save all the images. Once that is done, then there is a paste deploy. So let's um, search for paste underscore dploy. Paste deploy, yeah, there you go. So here we need to add flavor as a keystone. So once you do that, and then under keystone authentication, we need to add uh, a bunch of lines there. So let's uh, it should come right here somewhere. Keystone authentication. Okay, so it's not there. So let's search for keystone underscore auth. And once you do that, it's right here. So there are nothing configured there. So we can just add these lines basically, which shows all the auth URI and for the authentication purpose, what would be the password and default domain and so forth. So that should be it. So let's save this file, and we also need to go to the glance registry.conf, as I mentioned earlier, that the API and the registry, these are the two uh, services and services that are very crucial for the glance. So here also the verbose equals true. That's beginning. We need to make that change. Right. So once that is done, then the next one is the database connection. So to check the database, you just do database, and here is there any database? Okay, connection is none, so we can just add that line here for connection. And the next change is for the same paste deploy, so which is paste deploy and insert, and you add the flavor keystone, and then keystone keystone authentication, which would be somewhere here slash, oops, sorry, keystone authentication, and there is nothing there, so we can just add all the lines over here. And once you can pause and capture the information when you like, but so let me just save this here. Okay, and then let's restart this both the services, which are glance API restart, and the second one is um, registry restart. Oops, why it happens? Okay, here we go. So that is done. So now we need to make sure that the database is in sync. So we'll just sync the database, and we need to again restart the services. So once the database is sync, we start the services again. Okay, so so far what we did is we configured Keystone, we configured Glance, but we have not uh, pulled or bring any image from the internet. So what we'll do is we'll just run a wget command, and we will try to bring the image from the URL. Right, so here I did wget http download zeros. So I'm planning to get this zeros image, and which is going to show in the list. Okay, so the image has been saved. So now if we go to uh, where we go, there you go. So it's right here. The Cirrus image has been downloaded over here. So that's the image we are going to use, and leverage that when we create the virtual machines. We can use this image to create virtual machines basically. Okay, so that's about the glance. The next is a neutron. Neutron is again very critical component, as it does the networking for OpenStack, and so let's start with that. Uh, so we'll do first of all we create the user as a neutron. So once so neutron. All right, so the user has been created. The next thing is we need to add the role admin. Okay, so that's done. The third thing is we need to create the service for the network. So that's good. And once these three steps are done, right? Usually these are common for all the services, regardless whether it's a glance or neutron or any service. You need to create that particular user and add the admin role to it, and create a service in that name. So, and once you do that, then you create the endpoints again for the public, internal, and external. So that is good. The next one is for internal. So let's create for that. And the third one is for the admin. All right, so the endpoints has been created. So the next thing is we need to we need to add some packages. I'll show you in a minute. So what we are going to do here is we are going to install Neutron server, DHCP client, plugin for OpenSwitch agent, L3 agent, as well as the DNS mask. And Python Neutron client as well. So quite a few packages that we are going to install. As I said, that Neutron is very critical for the OpenStack infrastructure, um, if you are using network, right? So Okay, so once these packages are installed, then we are going to again create the Neutron DB. So we need to log into the MySQL and create the Neutron DB as a database, Neutron database. Okay, so that's done. So let's log into the MySQL. All right, and then create Neutron. Okay, now we need to grant permissions and then quit. Okay, so once that is done, then we just need to restart those services which we have just installed. So let's start with the Neutron server restart, and then open vSwitch agent, and then Neutron metadata agent. From next time onwards, I'll just run all the services together so that the first time this is a DHCP agent restart, and the fifth and last one is basically L3 agent, right? So once these are the five services are being used very actively within the OpenStack environment when you use Neutron as a network service. All right, so the next thing is we need to make some changes to some of the INI files and so forth. So let's do that. So here in this, copy and so this is what I'm going to configure in this INI file and just save. And the benefit of time, it's like the procedure is so long that we need to. Okay, so here I'm in a DHCP agent configuration, so I need to add a similar kind of information here too. Save, and then I go to ML2 config INI file, and over here also I need to configure verbose equals true. There is a ML2 section somewhere here. Tu, 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 tu. There you go. So within the ML2 section, we need to type insert, right? So it's like drivers are for GRE, and the mechanism drivers are OpenSwitch, and extension drivers are port security. So let's done with that. There is another place for ML to type GRE. It should be right here somewhere. There you go. So ML2 type GRE, and you can configure based on ML2 type VLAN or GRE or Geneve or VXLAN. It's up to you. Whichever is your platform, you can configure accordingly. So here I'm going to use this tunnel ID ranges is 1 to 1000. So basically 1000 tunnels this system would be capable of. So let's there are some more changes for the security group. So let's see if I can find the security group soon here. Okay, there you go. So within the security group, I need to enable IP set equals true. So let's insert and IP set equals true, and then okay. So that's it for that file. Configure. The next one is OpenSwitch agent ini file, and then here also verbose equals true, insert true, and then agent. Okay, let's see where the agent is. I hope I can find that. Otherwise, there you go. Okay, so insert, and we need to put three of them here. Copy and insert. Okay, I already did that. True. We need to go to the OVS section. All right, here you go. So under OVS, insert, and under OVS we need to put the local IP as well as BR external. So let's put that. And then under security group, we need to make a couple of changes. So where is the security group? There you go. Insert, and it's true. Control C, escape. All right, so that's done. Okay, so the next change is in the metadata.ini. So copy metadata.ini. Default the Neutron user verbose equals true. So these are all the changes flat out are going to be here. Insert and okay. So these are all the changes needed for the Neutron API. So this is in one shot. And then there is a neutron.conf file we need to update. So let's go there. I don't think we have updated that file yet. So under default, we need to do core plugin and notify. Insert core plugin and notify, as well as under Keystone authentication, we need to add some more URLs there. So where is the Keystone authentication? Core plugin ML2. All right, let's do this. Escape. Oops, sorry. Keystone authentication, and then we just add lines here, and then look for database, and we need to find the connection. There you go. So we need to make sure that this is disabled, and oops, sorry, we need to add this connection. All right, so that's good. And we need to go under Nova. So here, Nova, all right. And here what we need to make a change with is there are quite a few changes here. Insert authentication, and then under Oslo messaging Rabbit also we need to make three changes. Okay, so here under Oslo underscore MESS Oslo magic, oh, not this one. Oops. Oslo messaging notification, we need Rabbit. Okay, there you go. So here insert, and we need to put a Rabbit host, Rabbit user ID, escape, Q, save it. All right, here you go. Finally, so we modified, we made changes in this L3 agent, DSCP agent, ML2 conf, and Open vSwitch, and agent INI, metadata agent INI, and Neutron conf file. So now once all this to make these changes take effect, we also need to just restart all the services. So all the same services, basically the Neutron server and OpenSwitch and all, that I ran it. Okay, so once that Neutron configuration is done, as we know that now we need to, 1 second. We need to, okay, so what we did is we were just syncing up the database, Neutron DB, for this services. So once that is done, then how we can verify is basically we can go here and do Neutron agent list, and it should show. So it says Neutron agencies. Okay. Just 1 second. Hey guys, sorry for the pause. Just wanted to start this again. Basically, where we were, just wanted to show you that the last time when we were running this Neutron agent list, what was going on, that we were getting some error like unknown command, and it was not recognizing the command, and the authentication failures looked like. So what I did is I just went through the internet, and look at the OpenStack org, and I noticed that there is a bug looks like for the particularly for the Mitaka version, and there are some answers showing that once you reboot the controller, then it should come up good, most probably. So that's what I did, and I just wanted to show you that based on that information, um, I also restarted this controller. Anyway, it's a single node Mitaka, right? So I restarted this controller, and once I restarted, I just did the ls and source creds and Neutron agent list, and now you see that the agents are coming up here as you see. So that basically concludes the Neutron part of the setup, and let's proceed to the Nova. So in Nova, the first thing we need to do is basically we need to create the user Nova. So let's do that. And the password. So let's go to pass. And once the user is created, we need to add the role, admin role to the user. So we'll do that. Okay, once that is done, the next thing is we need to create the service, Nova compute service. So let's create the service called compute. So that is created, and once that is done, so then we know that now we need to create the endpoints for the external, internal, and admin. So I'll just do that. So this is the internal. All right, so that looks good. And then the next one is admin. All right, so that looks good as well. So next one is we need to install now the couple of packages for the Nova utility. Let's do that. So basically what we are installing here is we are installing Nova API, Nova Cert, Nova Conductor, Nova Console Auth, Nova NCP proxy, Nova Scheduler, Python Nova Client, and Nova Compute, and Nova Console, and sysfs utils. So let's do that. Yes. It shouldn't take that long. So let's okay, so once that is done, then we need to start some of the services. So I'll just go one by one on that so that we can see what are the services we are restarting once it's installed. I know I said that the target was to finish this installation in 1 hour, but I guess it may take another 15 minutes to 30 minutes. So, I may split it in two parts, but most likely one part. Let's see how when it finishes, and we will just I'll just upload it accordingly, whether in one part or two part. So just bear with me here. There are a bunch of packages, so it may take some time. Okay, so the installation of packaging is done here. So I'll start restarting the Nova API service to start with. The second one is Nova Cert. The third one is Nova Conductor. The fourth one is console authentication. fifth one is Nova VNC proxy. We can put it in a script as well to start, so when you if you do this, you can just put it in a make a script file and just restart all the services that way as well. All right, so this is the last one, Nova compute and unknown instance and starting. Okay, so that's good. So now let's go to the MySQL DB and create the Nova DB instance. All right, so it's MySQL minus U minus P. All right, underscore pass. So here we are creating a Nova database, which is going to be called Nova DB. We need to give up permissions. And here we also need to create the Nova API database, which holds all the API information as well, and we need to assign the permissions to the Nova API as well. All right, so once that is done, so the databases are created. So now we just need to quit here. And once you quit, then the next step is, as usual, we need to go to the configuration file and make the appropriate changes to the nova.conf here. And in the nova.conf, we need to add So what I added is basically starting from enabled APIs. Right from here, I added these lines. So once you do that, just save and exit from there, and then we also need to put some more information within nova.conf. So one second here. So nova.conf and HTML. Okay, so from API database all the way until okay. So what we need to do still is we need to add some more sections within the Neutron and Glance and messaging Oslo, messaging Rabbit, as well as Cinder and database connection and the API database. So I'll just need to go through it one more time here. And at the end of the file here, I need to add a few more lines. So just to show you, basically what I did is I added this Neutron section. Before that, I installed this Oslo concurrency. This is for Glance. This is for Messaging Rabbit, and uh, this is for Keystone authentication. So let me just make one line space here. So this is for Cinder and this is for database connection. So that way So API database, and okay, so that concludes that. So let me just save and exit. Once I do that, this was a major section. It was good that we don't have to go through each line by line, but you can just definitely capture it from here. The other file we need to edit is novacompute.conf, and once I go in, we need to change the word type to KMU instead of KVM. Remember we had that KVM error earlier in the beginning of this setup. So let's save it and save. So once we do that, then the time is to sync up the database. So let's su minus s bin sh minus c nova manage API db sync nova. It will sync up the database, and once that is done, then we also need to sync up nova manage db sync. Once that is done, then we need to again restart all the services such as Nova API and CERT and Conductor, console auth, Nova VNC, proxy, scheduler, console, and compute. So that is done. So let's start that one by one. I just Nova API, Nova CERT, Nova Conductor, Nova console auth. And once that is done, then we can verify whether the computes what are the compute services are coming up. So now compute is the last one. Sequence usually doesn't matter, but usually the Nova console and Nova compute are the last two services you usually run, because that's like a Nova compute helps to creating the VMs. So let's see, open compute service list. And once you do that, there you go. So it shows basically that what are the services has been configured, and status shows whether they are enabled or not, and the state shows whether they are up or not. So that looks good. So that concludes the Nova configuration. So now let's jump right into the Cinder configuration. So as you know by now that now the first thing you need to do is to create the user Cinder here, and the password is just try to be consistent with the password, so that let's say if you for all the services you may choose to set the password as service underscore pass, and so forth. For the database you can set up as a db underscore pass. Here in the second step we are doing adding a role, admin role, to the Cinder. So that's good. The third one is we are creating a service called volume service for Cinder. So that's good. Now we are going to create the endpoints for this Cinder as a service. So this is for public. Similarly for internal, and the last one would be for external. We also need to create volume 2 basically, so that we can differentiate what volume 1 does versus what volume 2 does. So I'm creating here the another service called volume 2, and and the name would be Cinder V2. And similarly, we also need to create the endpoints for that second volume service. All right, that's good. And the third one would be for the admin. All right, so that is good. Now we need to install the packages for the Cinder. So here what packages we are installing is Cinder API, Cinder Scheduler, Cinder Volume, Kemu, LVM2, and Python Cinder Client. So let's do that. And once that is done, we need to go to the MySQL database and create the Cinder DB as well. I hope you guys are still with me and don't getting bored. But once this setup is complete, you'll understand that still for single node also there are quite a few steps that we need to do. But once we are done with it, it's so easy to create the volumes and not volumes, virtual machines and network, and we can create number of projects and assign the floating IP and make the virtual machines connected to the internet, and quite a few things we can do with it depending on your need. So this is MySQL and DB pass. We need to create the database called Cinder. So let's do that. All right, now we need to assign the permissions. Sorry about that. All right, and now we need to quit. So quit, and now we need to go to the cinder.conf and make some configuration changes. So let's go there, and now under that cinder.conf we need to make changes to the Oslo messaging rabbit database, Oslo concurrency, and LVM. So here you go. Just need to I added this. So basically, these are the sections: LVM section, Oslo concurrency section, database section, Oslo messaging rabbit. And if you go up, you'll see that from where we added, let me just I just make add up one more space here. So that's how to differentiate between the services. And if you go a little up, so we started from RPC backend all the way at the bottom. We updated this file with it. So now let me just save it and exit. And once you do that, the next step is uh, to do the database sync. So once the database sync is complete, we need to add one more disk to the volume, so that we can make sure that we can create the volumes and stuff with the additional drive you may have. So what I'll do is I'll go here and go to my da. Oh, I need to go to the VMware virtual machine and to Mitaka 141, and I need to go to uh, configuration and settings, and here I need to add one more hard drive, one more hard disk, and next, and SCSI, that's good, and click next, and create a new virtual disk. Okay, click next, and minimum maximum disk size, I'll just will just create a small disk of 5 gig. So and then click next, and this is whatever is the default. So once you do that, it will add one more hard drive over here. See that? So that's good. And then you just click OK, and you go back to go back to go back to machine here, and as we have added the new disk, we need to reboot the machine. IN I init 6 and hit enter, and I'll just pause the video real quick and come back. All right, so the once we did the restarted the machine came back, and I logged in again as root. And what I did is, as I showed you earlier, that added the 5 GB disk. So I did the F disk, and once I did the F disk, basically I did the partition, and once the partition has been created and altered, I created the SDB1, and once it successfully created a SDB physical volume, I did a VG create cinder volumes slash dev slash SDB1, and the volume group also created successfully. So once that is done, then we need to basically restart the Cinder services, as we have already installed. So this is the first time we are restarting this service target restart. The second one is Cinder volume restart. The third one is Cinder scheduler restart. And the fourth one is Cinder API restart. So let's do that as well. And once that is done, that concludes the Cinder configuration within the OpenStack. So far, just to recap, we did Keystone and Glance and Neutron and Nova and Cinder configuration. So the next one is Horizon, right? Horizon is the graphical interface OpenStack is using to manage the operations of the virtual machines and networks and the services and so forth, quota and all. And we basically, rather than going to the command line, we can use the GUI to interact with the configuration changes and management of OpenStack. So let's start with the Horizon. So the first one is apt-get install OpenStack dashboard. So it's called dashboard in the OpenStack world. So yes. So once that is done, we need to go to the settings.py file, which is a Python file, and we need to make some changes over there. All right, so the installation is complete for the dashboard, and now we need to go to the within @C OpenStack dashboard, as it's already created now based on this install. We go to the local settings.py file, and we need to make some changes over there. So let's go through it. The first one is OpenStack host. We need to change the IP address. So let's find it. This is OpenStack. Hmm. There you go. So here is the OpenStack host, OpenStack Keystone URL, and OpenStack Keystone default role, right? So what I'll do is I'll just change all three in one shot. So go here, and I'll just delete all three and insert the new information. So that's how that's done. The second thing we need to change is the session engine. So the session engine is basically it should be somewhere at the bottom, most probably. But if I don't, OpenStack session engine and caches. So let's find session underscore eng. I guess that should be enough, really. Uh, Okay, so let's find it one more time. Okay, so if it's not there, then we'll just add it to right here with it. So insert and uh, copy session engine. So that's done, and just two more cache cache is there you go. So right here, right? So what I'll do is we need to change the IP address. So let's delete that first, and then I can add and enter, insert, there you go, and enter. Okay, so it updated the IP address here and the port number. The third thing we need to change, and the last thing is the OpenStack API versions, right? That is also important. So let me just go here and search for OpenStack API versions. Okay, so which is basically not enabled, so I won't touch that, but I just add it here as a new file. So that's how sometimes it depends on the version. Sometimes we can just use the same one. I think it looks like for this one it's looks like similar 1.1 and identity to volume, and we can change it as well if there is a need for that. So okay, so just one more. There is one more change is required, which is the OpenStack Keystone default domain. So where would I find it? Is let me just copy it first, and then I can look for OpenStack underscore KEY. I think that should. Oh, there you go. So that's a default. Okay, so I can just add it here. OpenStack default domain equals default. So that's how, and save it. So once that is complete, sorry about that. We need to restart the Apache. So let's reload the Apache, and once it reloads, that basically concludes the Horizon setup as well. And now, as we know that if we go to the URL, so this is a single node. So what we can do is the IP address slash Horizon, and that will bring up the GUI where we can log in, and so I'll just make sure that you can see the screen here. So I'm just setting it up that way. So, all right. So I believe you all can see this GUI screen where I can log in as admin, and with admin pass. All right, here you go. So this shows that now we have successfully logged into the Horizon dashboard. And as you can see that what has been configured so far is in the identity menu, you can see that how many projects we have configured so far. These are basically the default projects you should have. Apart from any other projects going forward, you need to create. That's what you do. Such as, let's say, if you have two customers, you can create a project customer one, customer two. Similarly, here this is a user screen where it shows that what are the default user IDs has been created so far, such as admin, demo, glance, neutron, nova, cinder, etc. The groups and roles that is also created. If you go under the admin section, you can see the overview. You know that how much is the system utilization right now, and so forth. What are the hypervisors has been used, host aggregates, instances. You don't see any instances right now, but you can see once you create some. So here is the volume information, flavors, images, networks, routers, and defaults. If you go under the projects screen, you can see again the compute overview where it shows that, okay, summary of how many instances are running so far and so forth. Volumes, images, access and security. If you go under network, you can see the network topology. Basically, we have not created the network yet, so it's a blank screen right now. But once you add the network, private network, public network, and routers, it shows everything here. As you see that networks and the router screen is also empty. I am planning to create another video showing the operations of the OpenStack with creating users and networks and routers and instances. But for this particular video, my objective was just to show the installation procedure and conclude with that. I know that there are quite a few other things which are not there I have covered, such as Swift, as a object storage, and heat as for the automation, as well as a ceilometer for the telemetry, and so forth. But in the next video, I am also going to cover, when I have a video for the 3 node configuration, I'll also try to add those components as well as a part of the video. So with that, I think I'm going to conclude here. And as I mentioned earlier, so just bear with me one moment. I just need to show you that if you want to get in touch with me, I'll put that note in the YouTube video as well. But you can definitely get in touch with me at Rikesh at stackerus.com, and provide feedback, and any other question you may have regarding the installation procedure, or any other request you may have regarding the OpenStack and software-defined networking, or network function virtualization. So please respond, and please try to get in touch with me for any other question or comments you may have. Thank you very much, and I hope you all will enjoy this video.